Hi, everybody. Thanks again for joining us. And today I'm really excited to be chatting to Kim Palmer. Kim, welcome to the show.
Hello, everybody, and hello, Dylan. Thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor to be here today.
So, Kim, you and I go back quite a long way. We've been, how many years have we known each other? Is it like 5 years or more? I'm not sure.
Yeah, definitely in the 5-year plus, Dylan.
I think so. Yeah, and I've always admired you and your business. I've been just so blown away by your vision and your I think it's your strength of character and your fearlessness. You've just never been afraid of taking on big, daunting tasks, you know?
No, thanks, Dylan, for that encouragement. Sometimes I still need it. But yeah, I mean, I remember meeting you, in a classroom where you'll find me most of the time. But yeah, I actually met you in your classroom. And even just in our meeting, it was me trying to see, what is this whole buzz of social media, and why should I be taking my business to that next step? So yeah, and here we are today. And yes, definitely I ventured into that social media after that class and increased my LinkedIn profile too. And yeah, that's definitely helped the journey. So I just want to say thank you to you for that. And now we're doing a podcast. So definitely I can say a fearless woman. I am.
So, Kim, I know what you do, but maybe just for our listeners and viewers, maybe just introduce yourself. If I met you in an elevator, give me your elevator pitch. What is it? What do you do? What are your businesses? And yeah, maybe give us your quick overview.
Okay, so I'll try my best. My name, as you all heard, is Kim Palmer. I'm the CEO and founder of On the Ball College. What do? I basically give opportunity for young people in the ICT space by giving them the ICT training that they require. And then, besides giving them that opportunity, seeking the opportunity for employment. So making sure that the skill is role-based to that employment position. And I definitely think that would be my elevator pitch.
So, Kim, as a woman in ICT, how has it been? How have you found it? How's your journey been? Because everyone's banging on about women in ICT, and you are a woman in ICT.
Sure. Well, Dylan, it's been, like they say now, 2 decades. I'm giving my age away. Thankful that most people are saying that I have the gift of looking younger. So, I'm just putting that out there. But yeah, definitely been 2 decades of doing this. And I think that now is actually the time where women can breathe more in the field. 2 decades ago, you couldn't even consider breathing in this field because it was just so male dominant, and there was no, I would say, entry level for women to get into the ICT field. Now there is just opportunities after opportunities knocking for women to join the sector. So I'm actually now excited about the sector more than 20 years ago because of us just having now more opportunity to get in. And there's actually opportunities now where they're opening doors, no longer closing doors or barriers. They're actually opening it and say, yeah, here's an opportunity. Take it. All you have to do is say, I'm here.
I know I've been encouraging a lot of young women to get into the ICT space because it has become quite welcoming for women. And if you're a woman in ICT, you guaranteed roles. It's the opposite of what it used to be, I think, in the olden days. So we've come a long way. And thank you for all the work that you've done in contributing towards that, because I know you even have a Women in ICT group.
Yeah, no, it's been a journey trying to help other women to get back in. And thank you for that. I feel very honored and blessed that I have had the opportunity in my entrepreneurial journey to build a network of strong women. And I do that not on my own. I formed a board too that has helped me over the last couple of years. So it's been 7 years now. And we've joined with various other organizations like IAW, Inspiring 50, the Innovator Trust, to also empower and encourage other women. So, and just by listening to those names, 20 years ago, there were no movements for women, to grab onto or to be part of, to become part of ICT. Now there are so many movements.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. So let's start at the beginning of your journey. So how did you get into On the Ball College? What's the catalyst that kicked you there? How did it all start?
Wow. So as mentioned, that the opportunities were not there for women 2 decades ago. And so I was one of those statistics where I had completed my IT qualification and was like ready for the job market, but no one would give me the opportunity. Every door I knocked on said no experience, you're a woman, you cannot do this job, etc. All the barriers that was thrown at me. And so at the time, I had met the technician at the college that I actually attended. And I used to go in and do practicals with him to build experience. And then as that was happening, we started fixing other people's computers. Your family is always your first and your biggest marketers. And so my dad would come home with everyone's computers from the work and just say, my daughter can fix this. And I'm like, really? I mean, I don't even have a job yet. And you're entrusting me to fix someone else's computer. But his trust in me gave me the strength to say, you know what, just work with your networks. And at that young age already, I was 18, going into 19, I already knew the importance of networking. And so with building that network, my first mentor being this particular person at the college, we then soon built this trust relationship whereby people started paying us. And before we knew it, we had this little startup called On the Ball Computers that was actually birthed on the 15th of October, 2000. So that's really how that journey just evolved.
Hey, it's nearly your birthday.
Can you believe it?
12th of October.
I know.
It was nearly 23 years ago.
I'm telling you, hey, can you believe it? From that little opportunity that I took, instead of looking at life and just thinking, what, this barrier, I'm closing it, this dream. Yeah.
Instead of sitting there saying, no one's giving me a job, so I think this is something that sets you apart right here. Guys, if you're listening to this and you're unemployed or you hate your job, take a leave, because Kim didn't wait for someone to give her a job. She didn't sit and cry about, poor her. She worked for free. And I think it's a very, very key. I often say in fact, someone gave me this advice, Zane Green, back in the day. He said to me when I just started my business, he said, because I was like, oh my gosh, I don't have enough clients. What am I doing? And he said, work for free. He said, as a small business other companies can smell desperation. And I think employers can smell desperation in a candidate too. But there's a confidence that comes from knowing I'm doing good work for these clients or whatever the case might be, whether it's as a freelancer or whether it's, and the fact that they're not paying you is irrelevant. The fact that you're working for free is irrelevant. A, you're getting experience. B, you have this busy energy, busy, that other people are attracted to. Because imagine I get in the lift with you and somebody says, and somebody asks you, hey, what do you do? And I'm like, and I have done this. And it was very cringe. And I was like, oh, I just started a digital agency. I need clients. Do you need digital marketing? And they were like, no, we're okay. We're good. But then after speaking to Zane Green, God bless you, Zane Green, I was like, oh, I've got so many clients, small white lie, and I'm so busy and I just love what I'm doing. And we don't really have capacity for more clients. But, if you're interested, let me know. We can make a plan. There's this busy energy that people are attracted to. So Kim, very, very well done. So what happened then? So you started On the Ball Computers, and how and when did you transition into the college and the campus?
So basically, thank you also for sharing that story, Dylan. And it's really resonates so well with me and agreed. I mean, because as an entrepreneur, there are many times that you have to work for free, so valid point there. But yeah, to answer your question, so I then used that experience to put it on my CV. And my references became those clients. And that's where I landed my first permanent role at 19 years of age as an ICT consultant at UCT Libraries. And that journey really opened up my life to tertiary education at a next level, I would say, where I saw the beauty of going into a tertiary education and having that kind of streamlined education, and wanted to then, embark on giving that to the disadvantaged communities in South Africa. And I then embarked on that journey at UCT for 5 years. With the entrepreneurial spirit within me, I went into various roles there. And then one of it was to become an ICT trainer. They actually sent me on various qualifications to become an internationally recognized trainer. I lectured there. I did various ICT roles and was involved in a very big project called PeopleSoft, which basically transferred all UCT's paper-based registrations to an online system. And it was through that transition of me seeing how I could be part of something that big and then still running the startup, at the side, getting all this money and not realizing that I'm actually building an asset this side too, because I had no experience of entrepreneurship. No one in my family was running their own businesses. So it was never a dream or goal to go full-time into the business. It was always just the business was there to gain the experience that I needed to get a permanent job. But that soon changed when I worked at UCT, went up to various roles, got this exposure of just how big things could really be and what a difference you can make if you have more control. So I met someone on this journey who was a Black female who was a consultant. She had her own consulting firm, and she was consulting to UCT from the States, from America, and earning really great money. And that time I was in my early 20s, and usually women in their early 20s don't usually have ambition. Now they do, definitely. But 20 years ago, you didn't have ambition in your early 20s to buy property, to go and be, run your own company, etc. It was more about getting that permanent job, getting those benefits, and then getting married, having a family. That was the security that you looked for. And so she then shifted my mindset by telling me that women are worth more, and that you as a woman, just like I, can also have your own property, have your own business, and pay your own sustainable plan for life, like medical aid and pension, etc. And so she then sponsored me to take a trip to the States, to America, to actually fully paid, and then showed me basically how big the world was. I don't think if I, had that trip, I would have made the decision, because coming back after being overseas, I went to Atlanta, New York, and Florida, and coming back, having seen the world at a different, just at a different glance, and seeing how bigger things are. And that time, remember, we couldn't go to YouTube and just go and search and see how big the world was. And no one in my household had traveled. So this was really a completely new experience.
Wow.
And so during that time, as you mentioned earlier on about the law of attraction, I truly believe in that because my mindset was in such a different mindset, my partner was then closing a deal with a multinational company in Cape Town. And then we had to make the decision, because we couldn't do the contract part-time. Am I going to give up this career that I have at UCT that I've built for 5 years and pursue this business? Because I was literally at a crossroads of 5 years of UCT, building employability, 5 years of building entrepreneurship. Can you believe it? Literally 5. And I then in September. And that's why I celebrated last month my 18 years, because I believe the day that I really stepped and did it full time was when I truly became that entrepreneur. That's why the 5th of September, in 2005, that's when I made that decision and I went full time into entrepreneurship. And then during that period, we were running the business dual with the ICT business, and I was building the training business because that was always my dream. But as businesses, evolve and people evolve, in all business partnerships, there are sometimes where you end. And unfortunately, that happened with me and my partner. A year after being in the business, our relationship ended. And then in 2007, I then made the decision to focus more on the college side of things. And so the name was changed in 2014 to On the Ball College, because we had to, change the company from a CK to a CK to a company, because it was a law in the country that I changed. And then I just made the decision to change the name to On the Ball College, as that was more relevant of the focus of the business. Yeah.
And so now you've pivoted into the college space. So, I mean, how did you get started? Who were your first clients? What did you do? Were you knocking on doors? Where did you get you've mentioned the power of networks before, and I'm so glad you mentioned that, because it took me an embarrassingly long time as an entrepreneur to realize your business starts at the level of the contacts that you have. If you don't know anyone, your business starts here. If you know small clients, your business starts here. If you know big clients or prospective clients, your business starts here. So that took me quite some time. But so so you made the pivot now, but where did you get the money from? Where did you get customers from?
Sure. So very good question, Dylan. So because I had, my network of clients that we've serviced over the 5 years, it was literally referrals. They would refer. And that's why I really would encourage anybody, starting out in as an entrepreneur, to really keep the relationship with your clients, because that really builds you. And I mean, that word of mouth is big, especially when you're starting out. And because their networks become your networks, which we also tend to forget. But I also had that multinational company that I spoke to you about, and that company really helped us pivot in the first 5 years, because we built really good relationships there. And then my relationship with UCT, I was literally working 3 jobs while running my business, because the year that I had left, my permanent job to go and become an entrepreneur, I bought property as well. I was that ambitious. Oh, wow. The ambition was within me to be on my own. I was 25 years of age, and so I had to work those jobs to sustain not just the business but also my own lifestyle at the time. But looking back now, I'm really happy for the decisions I made, because it's brought me to where I am today. So definitely just encouraging all entrepreneurs out there that, as small as the network is, don't underestimate the worth. And even if you're going to pivot and move into your entrepreneurial journey, don't just cut ties from the working people that you worked with, because they too are your network. And as mentioned, those were the people that supported me first.
Wow. Yeah, it's very true. The adage of burning bridges, don't burn your bridges. And also, to keep your relationships strong, because I find that, exactly like you say, it's not always the person but they know someone, and they mention to someone, or someone says, I'm looking for this, and they say, oh well, Kim Palmer. So talk to me about some of the misconceptions that you found about being a female CEO, a person of color has because it's always a difficult question when people talk about a woman in business. Do I find that being a woman in business has been a challenge? I don't know, because I only know what it feels like to be a woman in business. I'm sure there are people out there that don't want to do work with me because I'm female or because of my personality. I don't know. It's probably, I'm not for everyone. I get that. But have you picked up any blatant challenges or differences that you think apply to women?
Sure. I think the biggest one is to have a seat at the table and actually to be taken seriously. You're definitely invited to sit there, but what are you being invited for? Are you being invited to just have presence? Are you being invited just so that your name can be put down on the minutes? Or are you being invited because what you are actually saying and representing has meaning and counts towards something bigger and greater? And so for me, I think that was very important for me in my 18 years to realize that one has to choose who you want to be part of and to represent. Doesn't mean that everything that gets thrown your way or gets, coming your way and asking you to join and be part of it. So now because of you've got that entrepreneurial spirit, you just want to grab everything because you're thinking, okay, great, that could be potentially an opportunity. No, it cannot necessarily, it could actually be something that could break you. It could break your spirits. It could, so I would definitely encourage that part about be careful of, who you sit around the table with and where you put input, and make sure that it's aligned to your values and the purpose of where you want to be. Because your biggest your biggest thing that you have as an entrepreneur is your time, because your time, you pay for your own time. And so that for me is crucial. I know I can go into the other things, Dylan, the normal things that people want to talk about, which is the work-life balance for women, because we have so many roles, or the fact that people think that we don't have the confidence or the leadership ability. But I tend to differ where that is concerned, because if you can do so many roles as a woman, I believe then you are born with leadership, because how do you, do it if you don't have a leadership ability? I mean, how do you raise a child? How do you, raise a household if you have no leadership or confidence, So I believe that is just something that women get from above, and it's just for us to act on it.
I love that. I absolutely love that. I agree with you. I sometimes feel the one thing I can say as a woman, and I don't know because I'm not a man, but I think that sometimes as a woman, if I can use this analogy, when a man plays golf and he holds the golf club and he wants to do the putt or whatever, he thinks about getting the ball in the hole. And as a woman, I sometimes, and I don't know if this is a personality thing or a woman thing, I don't know because I'm only me, but I sometimes think more about the people who are watching me. Like, is there someone in the crowd who thinks I can't do it? Is there someone in the crowd who can do it better than me? I don't know if men have that or if that's just a confidence thing. I don't know. I don't know if it's a personality or a gender thing, but I often have to remind myself to, and it's also maybe because I'm very much a people's person. So I'm very wired to people. So it's not gender, it's personality. Yeah. It's very murky, but I often have to remind myself to pull away to pull my energy from what people are thinking of me and pull my energy to the task and focus on the task at hand. But yeah, I completely agree with you. I think, in my experience, when I started my business, I was young and naive. And I think that there were predatorial business people out there who, maybe not all of them were predatorial. Some of them I felt were trying to take advantage of the fact that I didn't know. Everything was very murky when I started my business and I didn't know the path. And I was just, so a lot of people came to me and said, let's partner up. Let's partner up, because they saw my energy and my passion, my experience, and maybe my naivety, and then they wanted me to align with their business so that they could benefit. And what I found then is I would go into a period, I would say, yes, sure, that sounds like a great idea, because like you said, entrepreneurs say yes to everything. And then I would go into this period of deep confusion and overwhelm and darkness, and I just felt so lost and confused. And when I stopped and went back to the point of, where did I feel the light still, and where did I feel like my path was right? It was before I said yes to joining up with these people. And then and it's pretty awkward because by then I'd gone quite a far way down the path in saying yes. So the minute you feel these gut feelings of overwhelm, confusion, and darkness, go back to where the light was on the path, I've found in my experience. And then you have to reverse those decisions. You have to say, I'm sorry. And the longer you defer it, the more entrenched you become with those people. And the further down the path you go, and the harder it is to say, no, sorry, actually, this is wrong for me. But I did do that a few times. I had a few experiences where I started partnering up. And I also a few times, because I'm so like I'm an ideator, I would like join up with people and say, let's build this thing, let's do this thing. And then I also realized that as an entrepreneur, I actually only have capacity and space and time and energy to build one thing. I actually just can't build multiple things at this point. Maybe when I've like remove myself from the business enough, which is my goal, then I can build multiple things. But yeah, I think when you're building a company, you're still very entrenched in the company, just focus on one thing and don't say yes too quickly. I think that's a good takeaway. So do you want to tell us what is Learn to Boom? I know we were quite involved with you there as well. How's that going? Do you want to tell everybody about your Learn to Boom initiative?
Yeah, so Learn to Boom was born in response to the pandemic. I mean, that we've all just come out from, where basically we had to come up with a solution to assist in the online learning environment so that our business could still continue during the pandemic. And we launched it in June of 2000. And this definitely, put our business into a different light, in a positive light, because now we could service our clients in a hybrid situation, and also internationally and nationally. So that's been the exciting part about it. Up to date, we've serviced over 600 people now through the system. And I'm very excited to take that journey further now, because that's definitely the future. If you see how schoolings are changing now, I mean, would you have thought 20 years ago that you would now be putting your daughter or son into a school online, So definitely where the future's going.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Yeah. And yeah, well, sometimes I think COVID has forced a lot of companies to digitize faster than they would have normally, and that's a good thing. So when COVID hit, I think a lot of companies took a knock, but you just had to pivot very, very quickly. So just in closing, what would you say your wisdom would be? And you've been doing this for, like you said, 2 decades. So what is the big takeaway that you've learned that makes an entrepreneur successful?
I think that I think we spoke a lot about it today, Dylan. It's all about believing in your thoughts, and shaping your reality, not the reality that you think that others have put on you, Because at the end of the day, if you do decide to take the role of being an entrepreneur, you then have to do every single choice, So therefore, if you haven't shaped that reality, how are you going to be able to make those choices? So I look at it, as you've got this open canvas, and whatever choice you make is basically the stroke on that canvas. So I would definitely encourage them to think about what is their purpose, for their life. What do they want to do to make a difference in this world? What is the legacy that you want to leave? And once you focus on that, last point, just take ICT with you, because that's the world. We're living in the digital age world. That's the revolution we're in. So if you're not going to join that, then unfortunately, whatever purpose or plan you're putting out there, it's not going to make the big impact that it should be making in this world.
Very, very true. You've just opened a whole rabbit hole in terms of your thoughts, because you just said something unbelievably powerful. your thoughts. You started your statement with your thoughts. And my goodness, that is something right there for us all to sit and contemplate your thoughts. I've been spending a lot of time thinking about thoughts. So absolutely visualizing what you want, because I found that if you can't visualize it, it's not going to happen. The minute you can visualize it, it can happen. But if you can't visualize it, it won't happen. So number one, visualize. And number two, guarding for negative thoughts, I think is like really important. There's a lot of hypercritical thoughts towards you and towards others. Bitterness, unforgivenesses. Oh, and then they said that, and then I wish I had said this, and I should have said that, and why did they say that, and what did they mean? I don't know if it's just me, but I have to constantly like be pulling those weeds out of my head. And and I suppose contemplating on positive thoughts that will manifest into positive behavior, positive words that come out of my mouth that actually impact my reality. So that's a whole other can of worms. But I completely agree with you. I think everything you've said is like, I've experienced the same thing as well. So just in wrapping up, like what's next for you? What's keeping you excited? Do you have projects that you're busy with? Where to from here?
So I'm actually busy with my book. It's been a 3-year journey. I'm busy finalizing my memoir, and it really does focus on building girls and women in ICT and entrepreneurship. So I would encourage, if anyone's been inspired by my journey, to follow me on LinkedIn or any of my Instagram or Facebook platforms, because I'll definitely be launching it in the next couple of months. And then I'm going to also be focusing on a masterclass to help girls and women, to get, once my book's launched, to take that journey further. So that's definitely where my next is, to try and just to grow more women and girls in the sector. And in the business side, definitely, as you mentioned, to grow more co-captains. That is the dream now. I feel that I've definitely steered the ship for many, many years. Yes. And it is now time to start building those co-captains. And even that requires a thought process change.
Very, very true. Very true. Because actually the other day I identified somebody who's able to replace me, maybe like 75% of what I do. And then I had to ask myself the question, do I want to be replaced? Which is a whole other can of worms. Entrepreneur, are you killing your own business and making your business small because you don't want to step out of the way?
Correct.
So I think that's a conversation for another time, because we've run out of time. But Kim, it's been amazing speaking to you as always. Thank you for sharing your time, your journey, your passion, and your experience with us. And I do wish you all the best, guys. Please follow Kim and please support her business. Go and check out On the Bull College and Learn to Boom. We'll put the links in the description below. But Kim, we wish you all the best. Thank you for your time.
And thank you, Dylan. Thank you for having me on your podcast. And I wish you too, your podcast and your business, all the success, and keep up the great work.
And thanks once again to our listeners and our viewers for joining us. Please do subscribe, and please like, comment, and share below. We'd love to hear your thoughts, and anybody that you want us to interview, do let me know. And stay awesome. Bye.